The 1,000-pound sisters. In her wedding gown, Tammy and her companion and lover Andrea got down on one knee and placed the ring on her finger. Tammy offered her flowers and supported her good house since she was very happy, and take pleasure in their excitement with the entire family. Additionally, the entire family has decided on 2026 as their wedding date. Andrea and Tammy are overjoyed. Soft pink and gold hues painted the sky as the sun sank below the Kentucky hills. The Slayton family's backyard was bathed in a cozy glow as fairy lights twinkled from every angle. Tammy Slayton had no idea that her entire life was about to alter, but tonight was supposed to be a straightforward family barbecue. Wearing a silky lavender dress that gave her a sense of confidence and beauty, Tammy slid out of her electric chair into the back patio. Confused, she looked around. It was too quiet. Too ideal. "Where is everyone?" inquired Tammy. Before she could finish speaking, quiet music started to play, and the lights in the backyard abruptly brightened. Andrea, Tammy's girlfriend, emerged from behind the ornate archway. She was dressed in a shimmering white outfit that glinted in every available light. Her eyes gleamed with eager excitement, and her hair was curled. She was aware that a significant event was taking place. Andrea came forward with a bouquet of Tammy's favorite roses, deep red in color. Tammy looked at them with wide eyes as she handed them to her. "For you, sweetheart," Andrea muttered. Then, in an unexpected move, Andrea dropped to one knee, in her exquisite wedding gown, in front of the whole Slayton family, who abruptly emerged from behind the porch, applauding. Tammy put her hands to her mouth. Her heart pounded. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but they weren't from despair, but rather from intense joy. "You have been my best friend, my heart, and my strength, Tammy," Andrea said, her voice shaking with passion. "You've taught me what true love looks like. Loud, untidy, humorous, and sincere. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Will you wed me?" Tammy was unable to speak for a moment. She nodded repeatedly while trembling with emotion and tears run down her cheeks. "Yes, indeed, girl. I will marry you, of course." Tammy wept, but she was laughing. The whole family erupted in cheers, with Amy sobbing the most and hugging her sons as she supported her sister. Amanda applauded so hard her hands ached, Misty wiped her eyes behind her glasses, and Chris let out a loud whistle. Andrea lifted Tammy's hand tenderly and placed a stunning silver ring on her finger. Under the lights in the backyard, it glistened. Tammy gazed at it as if she didn't think it was real. She then lifted Andrea up, and they gave each other a firm embrace. "You make me feel loved like nobody else ever has," Tammy muttered. Andrea put a hand to Tammy's forehead. "My dear, we are constructing our future together." The pair was surrounded by their family, who hugged, laughed, took photos, and bestowed blessings upon them. "Y'all, we're planning another wedding!" Amy exclaimed, "and it will be the largest one to date. We're deciding on a date," Chris said. "And it will be flawless. They decided on a special date, spring 2026. The day the entire Slayton family would celebrate love, strength, and fresh starts, following a protracted family discussion that was full of humor, tears of joy, and a ton of barbecue ribs. As everyone applauded, Tammy and Andrea held hands. Softly, Andrea stated, "2026 is our year." Tammy grinned broadly, radiantly. She remarked, "I have never been happier in my life." "We're going to work together on this." And Tammy and Andrea celebrated the start of their forever under the bright lights, with their closest loved ones by their sides. They laughed, danced as much as Tammy could, and dreamed of their lovely future. Their romance was only getting started. But as morning sunlight streamed in through the small windows, the rehab facility's long hallway reverberated with the gentle buzz of equipment. When Tammy Slayton spotted Caleb rolling toward her with his typical welcoming smile, she had just completed her breathing treatment. That smile still gave her the comfort she needed after months of marriage. Caleb leaned in to give her a soft kiss and whispered, "Morning, baby." "Good morning," Tammy said, but there was a hint of annoyance in her voice that Caleb picked up on right away. With puzzled eyebrows, he parked his wheelchair next to her bed. "All right, what's wrong? That tone is familiar to me." Tammy let out a long sigh. "It's simply this location. No privacy. Everywhere we go, everyone is aware of what we do. Even our conversations are cut off." Just as expected, a nurse stuck her head in. "Remember that group therapy is in 10 minutes, Tammy, my dear." Tammy shut her eyes. "You see," she whispered, She shook her head as the nurse walked away. We are unable to complete a conversation before someone interrupts. Caleb gave a slow nod. I understand. I also sense it. They had both arrived at the clinic in order to improve their mental and physical well-being. However, there were difficulties with marriage here that no one had forewarned them of. Residents chatting as if it were their full-time job, personnel entering at all hours, sharing schedules, and shared rooms. The couple tried to sit alone in the courtyard one afternoon after lunch. The golden leaves fell about them like a silent boon, and the fall breeze was fresh. They briefly had the impression of being a typical married couple enjoying a quiet date. Until another neighbor, Melissa, approached. Hey, last night, did you guys fight? I heard all of you talking loudly. Tammy's jaw tightened. Caleb forced a courteous smile. Nope, just conversing. Melissa, however, stayed. All right, but pay attention. Tammy lost her patience. Girl, please give us 5 minutes to ourselves. 5. Startled, Melissa blinked. I apologize, Tammy. Dang. Muttering to herself, she rolled away. Caleb softly took Tammy's hand. I am aware of how difficult it is. However, I'm with you here. We're all in this together. They met with their psychologist, Dr. Rowan, that evening, and he listened intently as they vented their grievances. We're in love, Caleb declared, but feeling like a real husband and wife here is difficult. We require room, Tammy continued. Even occasionally, we require some alone time. Dr. Rowan gave a nod. That's a good necessity. Let's work out how to provide you both some physical and emotional seclusion. The following week was devoted to making minor adjustments. Walks in the early morning before other residents wake up. A do not disturb sign that has been authorized by the employees set aside time for the two of them to be alone. Couples only private counseling sessions. It wasn't flawless, but the quiet times grew longer with time. They identified areas within the facility where they could freely discuss their dreams and anxieties. Their favorite hidden world was the courtyard before dawn. This place may be crowded, but when I'm with you, it still feels like ours, Caleb said in a whisper while holding Tammy's hand one morning. Tammy's eyes pricked with tears as she smiled softly. Caleb, I appreciate you standing up for us. One moment of snatched tranquility at a time, they were constructing a marriage rather than only improving their bodies. The facility was crowded, the trip was difficult, and there was little solitude. However, their love remained unwavering. And in the reverberating hallways of the recovery facility, Tammy and Caleb discovered that sometimes genuine intimacy was about choosing each other, even in the most turbulent situations, rather than being physically close. But excitement was in the air when the Slayton family's Kentucky house was illuminated by the early sun. Baby Gage was turning 1 year old, so it was a wonderful day. Devoted to creating a memorable first birthday for her kid, Amy had spent weeks planning. In order to avoid disturbing Gage, who was snoring gently in his cot, she got up before the sun rose and crept into the kitchen. The aroma of freshly made cupcakes filled the air. They were vanilla with blue frosting, which was Gage's favorite color, though he was still too young to express it. Amy had organized a baby dino adventure theme party as a surprise, with cardboard volcanoes, inflatable dinosaurs, and green vines hanging from every nook and cranny. The backyard had been transformed into a miniature rainforest. After gradually getting better, Tammy persisted on lending a hand from her wheelchair. With a small dinosaur cap that about fit on her hand, Tammy exclaimed, "Girl, this is going to be the cutest dino party Kentucky's ever seen." Amy chuckled. It had better be. Gage only makes one full rotation. By midday, the entire family was up, including Misty with dinosaur-shaped cookies, Amanda with a massive pan of handmade macaroni, and Chris with a gigantic present bag. When Gage saw everyone, his eyes grew wide. He looked like the cutest baby dinosaur ever because he was wearing a small green onesie with tiny spikes down the back. Everyone shouted, "Happy birthday, Gage," as he was positioned in the middle of the backyard. Gage clapped his hands, enjoying the attention but not really comprehending. Amy produced the smash cake, which was a tiny circular blue cake topped with a fondant T-Rex. "All right, friend," she replied. "Show off your skills." Gage paused after dipping one finger into the frosting before slamming both fists into the cake. Everyone started laughing. When Tammy leaned too close, frosting got over his face, his hair, and even the front of her dress. Tammy gave a sharp gasp. Gage, not the new outfit. However, she couldn't contain her laughter when she used a handkerchief to remove the frosting. In order to find baby dinosaur eggs buried across the yard, Chris organized a scavenger hunt for the children. As everyone played, Tammy and Amanda sat together, laughing and applauding. A few children were startled when the inflatable T-Rex toppled over during a particularly powerful gust of wind. However, Gage's laughter was so intense that everyone began to laugh as well. Amy's heart grew as she observed him. She wanted nothing more for her son than this unadulterated bliss. Amy requested everyone to come together for a family photo before opening the presents. Even Tammy, grinning broadly and proud, stood with her walker. "Say Dino," called Amy. Everyone yelled, "Dino," when the camera sounded. The Slayton family had not taken such happy pictures in years. Gage was showered with gifts. A stuffed dinosaur for a baby, vibrant stacking rings, a small rocking dinosaur, his first pair of tiny sneakers with LEDs. However, Tammy's gift was the finest. Shyly, she gave Amy a box. A little scrapbook with the caption, "Gage's first year made with love by Aunt Tammy" was found inside. Amy's eyes began to well up with tears. "Tammy, this is really lovely." The scrapbook contained handwritten notes, small sketches, and printed pictures of Gage's accomplishments. Fairy lights were twinkling in the yard as dusk descended. After a day of love and celebration, Gage dozed out in Amy's arms. Tammy moved in closer. "Sis, you did well. Gage is fortunate to have you." Grinning, Amy stroked Gage's little hair. Having each other is a blessing. The Slayton family relished the quiet moment as they sat beneath the warm lights. All concerns were set aside for a one lovely day. The only things that had united them were love, family, and a baby child. Greetings, dear viewers. Greetings from my channel. I'm Mina, and I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.